Along these pans, or shallow depressions, a groundbreaking discovery is underway: untapped hydrogen gas at the surface of the Earth. A team of researchers from the University of Pretoria made the discovery after several months of field data collection and drilling just meter-long, deep holes. Even at that depth, there are signs of hydrogen.
Yeah, there is a significant elevation in the hydrogen values that come out of the soil immediately adjacent to the pans in Mpumalanga. We've measured maybe 20 to 30 pans so far, and every single one of them has elevated hydrogen. So we're quite excited. We don't quite know what's going on under the surface to produce this hydrogen and why it only comes up in certain places.
According to Professor Bambi, Mali was the first African country to discover and harness hydrogen.
What they did there is they drilled a borehole about 100 meters deep, and they capped that borehole, connected the borehole to a holding tank, and then they burned the hydrogen that accumulates in that tank just in an ordinary car engine. And that car engine is connected to a 30 kilowatt generator, and they produce electricity for the local village. It's not a huge amount of electricity. It powers some lights and a fridge or two, but nevertheless that energy is free. That electricity is produced with no cost other than having drilled the original borehole, and it's renewable. The hydrogen just keeps coming up through that borehole. And of course it's non-polluting. When hydrogen burns, it doesn't produce CO2 that goes into the atmosphere, it produces water.
Natural hydrogen is considered to be a source of renewable energy that is cheap to extract and does not emit emissions. It is green, clean, cost-effective, and a little non-disruptive to the earth.
Don't think that anybody is ever really going to get fabulously rich by exploiting this. They're little standalone units that will only power small domestic appliances, but it's free and it's renewable and it doesn't pollute. And I think those three things together, everything adds up. Any little bit of free energy that we can get from the natural environment to supplement the national grid, I think that's all a good thing.
The master's students involved in the project are beaming with pride, an antidote into discovery and innovation history books.
Students is quite exciting because there's so many different avenues of research to go into this. I mean, I've just sort of started my master's this year. Last year I focused on basically looking at the distribution of what hydrogen could look like across these sort of structures. But there's so many avenues to go, and we're very interested to find out as to why these structures only happen on certain sort of geological features, why these pans are orientated as the way they are, what causes this.
While the technology is still fairly new, hydrogen is already used to power houses, vehicles, aeroplanes and ships elsewhere in the world. It's considered an alternative energy to reduce the effects of global warming. The research team is in the process of identifying potential sites after which estimated resources could be quantified. Dumela Machoho, SABC News, Hendrina.